Silvies Valley Ranch. I don't know what town this technically is. Eastern Oregon.
So it's been simply amazing since 1883. Apparently the Homestead Act, federal government, was 1862. A bunch of pioneers came out this way with the covered wagons. 5 families settled it until the Campbell family, Sandy and Scott, bought the place in 2006.
Correct.
And what we came here to do is play golf. But once we got here, we realized that this place really isn't about golf.
No, it's a big part of what you can do here, but it's definitely not the whole thing.
It's a beautiful piece of Oregon. Still very wild in places. And then there's other places that obviously we've tamed. And so we have agriculture and we have hospitality in the same place.
The main thing that they do is they own a giant working ranch here at Silvies Valley. To put it in perspective, the entire ranch is 140,000 acres. The resort sits on 5,000 acres. So there's, what, 4,500 cattle out there?
3,000 goats.
3,000 goats out there running around.
800,000 bales of hay, which is what they feed the cattle and the goats with, and they sell that. Really kind of throwing it back and trying to make sure that the land is self-sufficient.
As ham-fisted as it might sound, it's a good tie-in to the golf too, because the golf is completely natural. It's not about moving land. It's not about changing anything. It's just about taking what's already there and making it better. So there's a reversible course, reversible 18-hole championship course.
It's a big boy ballpark.
Reversible 7,000-yard golf course.
Yes.
On even numbered days, you play the Craddock course, and then on odd numbered days, you play the Hankins routing, which is counterclockwise around the property, which we played today.
And who are Craddock and Hankins?
They were some homesteaders.
Homesteaders.
So you have those 2 courses. Those are the main attractions for sure. You have the Chief Egan course. Chief Egan, I know, is, along with Miles McVeigh, kind of your boy.
They're in neck and neck.
Just a little pitch and putt. You don't have to tell the people how you feel about pitch and putts. If you know anything about Silvies Valley Ranch golf-wise, you probably know the goat caddies, and that's where you can use the goat caddies.
What club you like, man?
He's taking a leak.
What do you like? You like a 70-yard shot?
Down. This club?
That was a missed club there.
Let them know.
We looked at getting the goats originally for weed control, so we don't have to use any kind of herbicides. And then, of course, they're very gregarious animals. They like people, and they're funny. They actually have a sense of humor.
More good numbers like that, and we get peanuts, right? Come on, good reads. There's more where that came from. Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of what was interesting about bringing them on as the caddies. The goats themselves, I think, really made it more popular because they love people and they just like being out there on the course.
The goats seemed gimmicky, but I really enjoyed it.
It was great.
I thought it was an awesome vibe, but you missed one thing.
Yeah.
The mother of all pitch and putts.
The McVeigh Gauntlet.
The McVeigh Gauntlet. It's a beast. The first 3 holes, you go way up the hill, and at the very top, they got a cooler full of cold beer waiting for you, and then you get there and then you come back down the hill, and it's still kind of tough, but like that is really well designed.
All right, so we played the Craddock course first. What was how would you sum that course up?
There's 2 things that stuck out. 1, hole 6, 7, 8, 9 all have a fairway that zigzags and connects, which was one of the coolest features I've seen. 2, trees in the middle of the fairway. Trees as a hazard. There were not really a lot of trees on the course itself, but there were these big conifers that would just get in the way, but in like a fun way. The fairway was 100 yards wide, and then you'd have a tree like strategically placed. Don't see enough of that. My favorite actual hole was 13, downhill, par 5, trees getting in the way if you hit it down the left. And it's the highest point of golf in the state of Oregon, which
well played.
you kind of realize is an awesome state for
Kind of a golf powerhouse.
Yeah, it's like probably the top 3 golf states.
So then today we played the Hankins course, and I think the first thing you are kind of suspicious of is like, is the reversible thing a gimmick or is it a cool, functional, helpful thing? And it became so clear 3 holes in that it's the latter. The guy who designed it is a guy named Dan Hickson, who's an Oregon native. He's only built courses in Oregon. He built Bandon Crossings, which a lot of people know is the Muni right next to Bandon Dunes. It's so cool to see how few hazards he put out there and how effective they are on both courses, in both loops, because nothing is arbitrary. everything is incredibly well thought out, but it's also incredibly natural. And he's not wasting time and money and moving dirt unnecessarily to try to, you know, make this loop good this way and this loop good this way. He's like, let's make sure that these things work both ways for the minimum amount of effort and money and earth moving. The other thing I thought was so cool was having played one time the first day around, you're going to a lot of the same greens. So you know that like there's a fairway over there and I might have a better angle if I play up that fairway than if I play up my fairway. The courses were not hard, I didn't think. And I don't think shot anything better than like 85.
Yeah, 80, I shot 86, 85.
I shot 86, 85. How good were the rakes?
Oh, the rakes were great. Sandy's son, owner of the ranch, is a metal worker, and he did all rakes. There's got to be like 200 of them out there,
Yeah.
and they all have a different saying on them. Some of my favorites, one was like more scotch, question mark. You know, listen, roll it, Dave. Like,
it's very cool to see a place that is so functionally throwback. The way that they make their bread, the way that they make the beaver dams, the way that they make cocktails, the way that they use rye on the property to do this, that, and the other thing. Like the way they do all those things, and they tell you the story and make sure that you understand why they're doing it that way, I think really translates to the golf too.
Yeah.
Because I think the golf feels like a very old school golf course in that it feels very golden age, even though it's in the middle of the desert. A high handicap can go out there and have a blast, and they're not going to be intimidated because there's not a million forced carries, and there's no, you know, real like punch you in the face trouble. But a low-ish handicap, some 5-7 handicaps can go out there and like not break 85 sometimes because, you know, you can hang yourself. It's totally unique. It's not a factory. You know, a lot of these resorts are factories, which is great, and I get that, you know, they're getting a lot of play.
Maybe they want to get there.
Yeah, maybe, but
right now it's not that way.
Yeah.
Our family is here, and we try to carry that through to the people who visit. I think that's my favorite piece, is just everybody feels like family here.
10 out of 10 would return.
Would return. Would love to return with a big group. It's summer camp.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I've got. So, hey man,
Hey, pleasure.
enjoy the trip.
Pleasure.
It's always a pleasure
Always.
bunking up with you, brother.
Yeah.